Imagine you walk into a room where everyone is screaming at each other. The walls are shaking, voices are cracking, fists are slamming on tables. And right there, in the middle of all of it, one man is sitting perfectly still, eyes calm, breathing slow, like the chaos around him doesn't even touch him, like he's living in a completely different world. You'd probably think he was crazy. Or maybe you'd think he was the most powerful person in that room. That's not a movie scene. That's a real psychological state. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to get there. If this is the kind of content that makes you think differently, that challenges how you see yourself and the world, do yourself a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell because we drop videos like this every single week and you don't want to miss what's coming. Seriously, what I'm about to tell you has the power to completely change how you show up in every difficult moment of your life. From arguments with people you love, to pressure at work, to the moments where life just seems to be falling apart at the seams. Stick with me all the way to the end because the final lesson, the one most people never figure out, is the one that changes everything. Let's start with a man named Viktor Frankl. If you don't know his name, you need to. Viktor was a psychiatrist living in Vienna in the 1940s. He had a family, a practice, a future full of promise. And then the Nazis came. He was ripped from everything he knew and thrown into the concentration camps, Auschwitz, one of the most horrifying places in human history. He lost his wife, he lost his parents, he lost nearly everything a human being can lose. But here's the part that changes the entire story. Viktor Frankl walked out of those camps not broken, not destroyed. He walked out with a philosophy so powerful that it became the foundation of an entirely new branch of psychology. And the core of that philosophy was something almost impossibly simple. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies your freedom. Read that again. Let it land, because that one idea, that one sentence, is the entire foundation of what it means to be unshakable. And most people never find that space. Most people live their entire lives reacting. Someone says something sharp and they snap back. Traffic makes them late and they spiral into rage. A plan falls apart and they fall apart with it. They are, in every sense of the word, controlled, not by the situation, not by other people, but by their own inability to pause. And here's what nobody tells you about that. The inability to pause isn't a personality flaw. It's not something you were born with. It's a habit, a deeply trained, deeply unconscious habit. And habits can be broken. Now here's where it gets interesting, and I want you to stay with me because this next part is where most people check out, and it's exactly why most people never change. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala. Sounds like a fancy pasta, but bear with me. The amygdala is your brain's alarm system. It's ancient, it's fast, and its only job is to protect you. When it senses a threat, any threat, it fires. And when it fires, it floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate shoots up, your thinking narrows, your muscles tense. And in that moment, you are not thinking, you are reacting. Neuroscientists call it the amygdala hijack. And every single time you lose your cool, every time you say something you regret, every time you blow up in a situation that didn't actually require an explosion, that's what's happening inside you. Your ancient survival brain just took the wheel, and your rational, conscious, intentional self sitting in the backseat, completely powerless. But wait, because here's the part that most self-help books skip completely. The amygdala doesn't just respond to physical threats, it responds to emotional ones. It can't tell the difference between a lion chasing you and your boss criticizing you in a meeting. To your brain, a threat is a threat. And this is why intelligent people say stupid things when they're angry, why kind people become cruel under pressure, why people who know better still do worse. It's not weakness, it's biology. And understanding that one fact changes your entire relationship with your own reactions. Because now you know it's not you, it's a system.
and systems can be overridden. So how do you override it? That's the question, right? And I'm going to give you the actual answer, not the watered-down version, the real thing. But first, I need to tell you about a Japanese soldier named Hiroo Onoda, because his story is one of the most extreme examples of reaction versus response in human history, and it will shake something loose in your mind that nothing else can. Hiroo Onoda was a soldier in World War II. In 1944, he was sent to a small island in the Philippines called Lubang Island. His orders were clear: hold your position, never surrender. And so he did. The war ended in 1945, but nobody told Hiroo, or rather they tried to. Leaflets were dropped from planes, newspapers were delivered, former comrades tried to make contact, but Hiroo believed it was all enemy propaganda. He trusted his training over everything else. He kept fighting, alone in the jungle, for 29 years. Let that sink in. 29 years. The man was at war with a reality that no longer existed. And when he finally came out of that jungle in 1974, when his former commanding officer had to fly to the Philippines in person to officially relieve him of duty, he was 52 years old. He had given 30 years of his life to a reality that everyone else had long moved on to. Now, I'm not telling you this to mock Hiroo Onoda, not even close. The man had extraordinary discipline, extraordinary loyalty. But here's the lesson that cuts deep. Hiroo Onoda was reacting to a story in his head, not to actual reality. And this is exactly what most of us do every single day. We react not to what's actually happening. We react to our interpretation of what's happening. We react to the meaning our brain has attached to a moment before we even fully understand the moment itself. Someone doesn't text back quickly, and suddenly they don't care about us. A colleague gets a promotion, and suddenly we're not good enough. A stranger looks at us the wrong way, and suddenly we're disrespected. We are all, in our own way, fighting wars that ended a long time ago. This is the real reason most people can't stop reacting. It's not the present moment that's triggering them. It's old wounds, old programs, old stories that were installed in childhood, in past relationships, in moments of failure and humiliation that play on loop in the background of every experience they have. And until you understand that, you'll keep wondering why small things blow you up, why certain people just get under your skin, why certain situations make you feel 5 years old again, even when you're a fully grown adult. The trigger in the present is never really the problem. The problem is the unhealed thing the trigger is connected to. And I know this might be getting a little uncomfortable. Good. Stay with me, because this is where we go from understanding the problem to actually solving it. And the solution is not what most people expect. Most people think that being unshakable means not feeling anything, suppressing emotion, building walls, going cold. But that is not strength. That is armor. And armor is heavy. And armor keeps out everything, including the good stuff. Real emotional mastery, the kind that makes you genuinely unshakable, is not about feeling less. It's about feeling without being controlled by what you feel. There's a massive difference. Feeling anger is not the problem. Becoming anger is. Feeling fear is not the problem. Becoming fear is. The goal is to feel everything fully and still be able to choose your response, to feel the storm and not be the storm. Here's the technique, and it's backed by hard neuroscience. It's called the 90-second rule, and it was discovered by Harvard brain scientist Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor. Here's how it works. When an emotional trigger fires, the chemical cocktail that floods your body lasts for approximately 90 seconds. That's it, 90 seconds. After that, if you are still feeling the emotion, it's because you are actively choosing to replay the triggering thoughts. You are keeping the fire going yourself. Every additional second of anger or anxiety or resentment after that 90-second window is a choice. You might not feel like it's a choice, but it is. So what do you do in that 90-second window? You don't fight the feeling. You don't push it down. You observe it. You name it. You breathe through it. And this is critical. You delay the response. You buy yourself just enough time for the prefrontal cortex, your rational brain, to come back online before your amygdala fires off something you'll spend the next 3 days regretting. That's the space Viktor Frankl was talking about, between stimulus and response. That 90-second gap is your entire opportunity to be a different person than you were yesterday. But here's what the self-help world won't tell you. This is hard, not conceptually hard, physically, neurologically, biologically hard, because you are literally trying to override millions of evolutionary programming in real time. It takes practice, it takes repetition, it takes failure. And the people who succeed at this, the genuinely unshakable people, they didn't get there because they read one